welcome to Ayogen News at 1. My name is DEBORAH, ANJORIN. First, the headlines. Ayogen Tv dissolves Ondo Football Agency Board. 2 women drowned in Kano Pond. Labour Party threatening to mobilize member against NLC over planned invasion. Limit immunity to president and vice president alone, says Benga Daniel. Estonia bans non-EU citizens, mostly Russia, from local elections. And now, the news in details. Ayogen Tv dissolves Ondo Football Agency Board. The governor of Ondo State, Lucky Ayogen Tv, has approved the dissolution of the management board of the Ondo State Football Agency. The dissolution is to take immediate effect. This was contained in a statement issued by the governor's chief press secretary, Ebenezer Adeniyan, on Wednesday. According to the statement, the governor has, however, immediately set up a caretaker committee to manage the affairs of the agency, which is in charge of the Sunshine Stars and Sunshine Queen football clubs. The statements read, with this dissolution, the executive chairman of the board, Mr. Dele Ologun, and other members have been relieved of their duty with immediate effect and directed to hand over all government properties in their care to accounting officers of the agency. Meanwhile, the governor has approved the caretaker committee to manage the affairs of Sunshine Stars Football Club under the leadership of Mr. Tokunbo Akinyelure as team manager and welfare officer. The caretaker committee is to report directly to the office of the state's governor. And still on local news for this afternoon, 2 women drowned in Kano Pond. The Kano State Fire Service have confirmed that 2 women lost their lives in a pond in the Gezawa local government area of the state. The public relations officer of the service, Saminu Abdullahi, made this known in a statement in Kano on Wednesday. We received a distress call on Tuesday morning at about 11:15 a.m. from a vigilance group in Gezawa that 2 women has drowned in a pond. The relative of the victims informed the vigilance group that the women worked at a Zobo processing company. They said that the women had gone to the pond to get themselves up after closing from work and drowned. He said that the corpses were handed over to Mr. Musa Garba, a police constable at the Gezawa Police Division. And down to politics news for this afternoon, Labour Party threatens to mobilize members against the NLC over planned invasion. The leadership of the Labour Party on Wednesday described the threat by the Nigerian Labour Congress to invade its offices nationwide as a subtle blackmail to make the Julius Abure-led leadership look like a villain before the Independent National Electoral Commission and security agencies in the country. The party also said that it would seek the protection of the security agencies and mobilize members across the nation to resist the invasion of its office nationwide. The National Publicity Secretary of LP, Obiora Ifo, disclosed it in a statement issued in Abuja. Ifo was reacting to Tuesday's directive by the NLC's president, Joe Ajaero, asking union leaders to begin the process of mobilizing their members in readiness to invade and take over the 36 offices and national secretariat of the Labour Party. The NLC's president's directives comes in the wake of Friday's judgment of the Supreme Court, which vacated the earlier judgment of the lower courts. Ajaero said they cannot continue to fold their hands and watch the Julius Abure-led National Working Committee defy the Supreme Court's pronouncement. But Ifo warned that hooliganism and rascality, as the NLC leader is allegedly exhibiting, should not be seen as a trait of a good unionist. And still on politics news for this afternoon, limit immunity to president and vice president alone, says Benga Daniel. A former Ogun State governor and current senator representing Ogun East, Benga Daniel, has advocated a constitutional amendment that will restrict immunity from prosecution strictly to the offices of the president and vice president. While the current provision in Section 308 of Nigeria's 1999 Constitution shield the president and vice president, governor and deputy governor from prosecution while in office, Daniel argued that broad immunity has been misused, particularly at the state level. Speaking during an appearance on Political Paradigm, a channel television program aired on Tuesday, Daniel reflected on the recent reversal by the House of Representatives on a bill aimed at withdrawing immunity from vice presidents, governors, and their deputies. He said immunity has the good sides, but to a large extent, I think some of our elected governors appeared to have abused it in terms of the things they do. He stressed that in order to protect the sanctity and stability of the country's top leadership, full immunity should apply only to the president and vice president. And lastly, on this afternoon news, which is foreign news, Estonia banned non-EU citizens, mostly Russians, from local elections. Estonia president on Wednesday signed into law a constitutional amendment banning non-EU citizens from taking part in local elections, a move targeting the large Russian minority in the Baltic states. Lawmakers voted overwhelmingly in favor of the change on March 26 as fear grows about security in the country since Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022. President Alal Kari's office announced the ban on third countries' national participating in local elections in a statement, saying it was about protecting the unity of Estonian society. But in a statement, it urged those affected by the ban not to think they had been excluded from society or believe that the state sees them only as security risk. The new measure will primarily affect some 80,000 Russians living in the former Soviet Republic, which gained independence in 1991. And that will be all for Ayogen News at 1 this afternoon. My name remains DEBORAH ANJORIN. I wish you a lovely afternoon ahead. Thank you so much for always listening and watching.